Hi Flosstube, this is Jill with Count on Linens. Today is May 14th, 2025, and this is my Flosstube number 8. This is a channel where I talk about my stitching, about my shop, and just other fun things related to sewing and crafts. Thank you so much for returning if you have been here before. And if you're new here, I hope that I have something that you're interested in and enjoy. So I have a lot to share today, as usual. It's been a really great spring here in Utah. There has been a little bit of a shift in weather this week. We've had a lot of high winds, and it turned really cold yesterday. And to give you a contrast, a couple of days ago it was almost 90 degrees. So we had a beautiful Mother's Day weekend with great, beautiful, nice, warm weather. And now it's turned windy and cold. So I have a little bit of overcast coming through my window, so hopefully I have some good lighting. Today I have some previous finishes to share, some finishes that I just recently did, and I have one start, some WIPs, some haul. I'll share some things that I've sewn lately. What else? I have my linen here that I'll probably showcase sometime during the video, probably sooner than later. So that's what I have planned for you today. So let's just get started. All right. So this is a Plum Street that I want to share. There's actually two of them. I'll show the first one. This is Wool and Flax Company. Okay. And this was done a few years back. Probably probably 2020 is when I finished this. I love all the colors. This is done on, I think it was just platinum, 36 count, and I used all the called for threads. Probably a lot of classic color works is what I remember. And then I did the sister Milk and Cream Co. And I just love this cow. There's a couple of areas where there's 1/1, and you can see that in, let's see, where is 1/1? Oh, I think it's the tiny eyes in the cow over here. Just a few places, and then the eyes in the big cow, I think. And I use the same, fabric for this. And then I framed these for myself. This is actually a frame that was a kind of a creamy beigey color at Hobby Lobby, and it had some art in there. I popped it out and just painted them black and roughed them up. They're probably, I don't know. I like them. I do like them. I don't love them. I think it's because of the texture. They're kind of rough. I might redo them, maybe spray them with some shiny. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment. So I have these hanging in my pantry / mudroom. I have a little butcher block roller table that's next to it with my flour, my sugar, and there's a cute window, and they're just right there. So every time I walk into the house from the garage, I greet my dog. She's in there when we're away, and walk in, and there they are. And I just love them. It's the perfect place for them. So I would show you the chart, but I couldn't find the charts. And the next fully finish that's previously done in the past is Memorial Day by Hands On Design by Kathy. God shed his grace on thee, and I made this into a pillow, obviously. There's some bread on the back. And here's the chart. And Kimmy, my sister, I talk a lot about her, so Kimmy actually did this one, and she is going to frame hers. I used all the called for, I think it's a sulky pack that I purchased, and it's just the white, it's just nothing fancy. It's a white 36 count fabric, linen. It's a linen. I love the flowers on the bottom. It's just a really fun pillow that I put on my bench in my staircase. So I just wanted to share that as Memorial Day is approaching, right? Can't believe it. This year is just going by so fast. Okay, so now I have some finishes that I'd like to share. And I did the cereal bowl. This is Plum Street sampler from Paulette Stewart. And I did all of these from the cereal bowl collection. This is lesson number 1. Sorry for the glare. And 2. You'll see these closer when I actually show the stitches. 3 and 4. Okay, so let's see if I can do these in order. Okay, so the first one is make use of present time. And I made all these into pillows. I stuffed them with sawdust. This is my first experience using sawdust. I actually went out to the yard and did them because it's so messy. But I just filled them with sawdust, and I made them into little, actually they're kind of big pin keeps. And these all represent my sisters. My sister and myself and my 2 sister-in-laws. And so this is Kimmy's. Here's her initials over here. And I just put in a doll pin with a vintage button. And I just love this so much. There's one. And then the second one is for my sister-in-law, Amy. Ever faithful, ever kind, firm and generous be thy mind. And I actually chose these just, this is definitely Amy. She's the most generous person. And she is a dog lover, for sure. So I made this same thing, just put the sawdust inside there, and I used all of the fabrics that I used are for my stash. And then I decided to put rickrack on this one. Each have some kind of rickrack, either sewn in or sewn in around the edge. And then number 3 is for my sister-in-law, Lori. The daily labor of the bee awake my soul in industry. And I just used this cute purple and beige fabric on the back, some rickrack, and Kimmy actually gave me this little bee here, so it's just pinned in there with a little bow. Now all of these, I'll have to go back. This is the only one that's 40 count, and I think this is flax, 40 count, kind of a lighter version. I used all the called for overdyed cotton threads, and then actually I take that back. This is the only one that's 40 count, and this is flax. And the bee one is a mystery linen. I don't know. And that's 36 count. And then this is platinum, 36 count. Sorry, I was going to try really hard to remember all of those details when I showed you each one. And then this one is mine. And this is the smaller one. And I decided to use this as a little scissor keep. I have these fancy scissors. And just dressed it up with some ribbon and a little pin. And I was born in November, and so I chose the pumpkins for mine, and there's my initials at the bottom. And this has the rickrack sewn in, and there's actually some fabric in there. So I really loved how each of these, the result of each of these and how they are a little bit different. And I'm actually debating whether or not to give all of these to my sisters. I probably will at some point, but I'm going to just keep them in a basket all together for a little bit, and then we'll see. I'll probably give them away. They deserve them for sure. Okay. Now, my last finish that I'd like to show you is, I actually showed the stitch last video, but I have a frame now. I showed the frame last time, but I actually have it all framed, and I laced it myself. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for me, and I love it. This is a Brenda Gervais, When Flowers Blossom, and I pulled the chart. Who knows where I put it? Let's see if I can find it. I think it's right here. There's the chart. And I did this, a couple years ago. I finished it probably last spring, and then with the stitching, and then got it into a frame. And this will go in my shop. And I'm gonna, I have plans to make a bee wall in there with all my bee stitching. Okay, so my start is actually my plan that I had decided for the month of May to start Summer Snapperland. And I actually don't know where the chart is. Now that I just have I have the chart, but I don't have the picture of it. I think it's in one of my bags that I'll show, and I'll pull that out later. But here is my my start. And so this is actually my linen that I dyed. It's Snowbird Sky 36 count. So it's a very light blue. You can kind of see. And I did no ironing for preparation for this video, so everything is wrinkly. So we have 4 windows here that will have a little setting of seaside with a little boy on a bike. There's one with the lighthouse. When I come across that, I showed it last time, but I did start this. I'm using the called for threads, but some of them are the DMC conversion, the conversion for DMC for the overdyes that I did not have on hand. I just really wanted to get it started, and I didn't want to wait for the threads, so I'm happy to have that started. So I'm going to show you a little bit of sewing that I've done in the past couple of weeks. The last time I was on here was, I think it was like the second week in April. And so I've done a few things since then. One of which is I've made a few little pillowcases. I found a travel size. I actually am waiting because I've given them away as gifts, and I just actually ordered one this morning for me. But this is the pillow pillowcase that I made for my two friends, Holly and Lara, from my previous job. We get together regularly for lunch or dinner and catch up, and I never did get them. We never had time to gather for Christmas, and then we decided to get together last month, and I pulled together a couple of gifts for them, and I gave them some travel pillows. So this is made out of the Americana fabric, and I also actually made one for my dear friend Linda as well, and sent that in the mail to her. And then I made another little pillowcase, and I also give them the pillow, and I gave my little grandson a Hot Wheels pillow for his second birthday. So we celebrated his birthday last month. Okay, so then I have a few project bags that I've made since I've last seen you. And I made this one. This is just fabric that I bought at Hobby Lobby, and I have a little bee charm on it. This is really fun. And then let's see if I can find my coordinating thread bed. I made thread beds that go with each bag. And I've decided that the way I stitch is I'm kind of messy, and instead of pulling one thread out of my skein, I just take the whole 6 strands. So let's say, for example, if it's DMC, instead of pulling just one thread at a time, I take the whole length of 6 strands. And so I have threads everywhere, and so I really enjoy having thread beds, and since I've made new bags, just wanted to have one for each project. So this is the one that goes in here. And then I'll show these last. Bear with me while I grab the other one that I just made. And then I made this bag. This is the inside, just a yellow. And this is also just another Hobby Lobby fabric. And I purchased the zipper at Hobby Lobby as well. It's actually metal, so you have to be really careful not to break your needle when you're dealing with a metal zipper. And then I made, I've been working on what's inside here, which I will show you. You'll probably guess that it is a bee stitch, and then I used the fabric to make the thread bed. And that's the inside. They're all the same, basically. Very simple. Okay. And then I made a thread bed. You've seen, if you've been here before, you've seen my red sampler bag with the Lori Holt charm. This is made from Lori Holt's Peace and Plenty, and this is her red sampler fabric. And the inside is a coordinating fabric. And then I have a thread bed for this one. I actually have had kits or bundles in my shop for, they're similar to this for the Americana, but for the red sampler. I'm sold out of those at the moment. I have the fabrics, and I'm currently cutting and getting those prepped to put in my shop. I'm just waiting for the charm. So those will be coming soon. I'm hoping to have those by Memorial Day weekend. And then I do have some Americana fabric bundles to make something similar to what I'm showing you. All the bundles have different fabrics from the fat quarter bundle. And so these are the two that I've made. out of the fabrics just to show you an example. So if you're interested in buying the bundle, it all comes with this fabric that's in the inside. It's the Americana cider. So I made a thread bed to match this. And then here's another version. And this charm is the little quilt block. And then the inside, again, is the Americana cider. And then I made a coordinating thread bed. And then I'll show you one more so I can, get this idea out of my head. And this one goes with here with my blue sampler bag. I have a WIP in there that I'll show you. And then I have one for a Christmas bag that I'll show you in a few minutes. Okay. So I've also did a little sewing on a puff quilt that I finished for my granddaughter. I have gifted this beautiful quilt to her probably about a month ago. I actually gifted it to her at the beginning of April before I filmed my April video, but I forgot to tell you about it. It's actually a sew-along that I'm doing with my daughters. I have a daughter in Alabama and a daughter here in Utah, and we've all been working on puff quilts. We're all in different stages, and I finished mine because I wanted to get mine over to my granddaughter, and I'm going to show you some progress later on in the future how their quilts are going, but I will pop in a photo of how mine turned out, and it's going to be right here. Okay, now let's move on to some WIPs, and I really am not going to be showing any kind of order because everything is just a big mess right now. But I do have Stacy Nash's Stitcher's Journal where I keep track of everything. And I am a sticker girl, but for some reason I just haven't been doing stickers. This is May. Probably because the stickers that I have really don't go with this book, and so I've just been writing. And so you can see that I was really busy in April. And so I will show you what I was working on in April, and then a lot of things have carried over from April into May. So Every Opening Flower by Brenda Gervais. Let's see. I don't know if I have the chart. Oh, here it is. There we go. And this is on, I think this is Winter Brew. And I have needles in here that I'll move out of the way. And here's my progress. I believe when I showed it last time, I haven't worked on it a ton. I just had the beginnings of the rose, like the section here, and then I went down and did the vase. So I'm really loving this. I did not work on it at all in May, this month, but I do love this very much, and I'm loving the colors. I'm loving the springy flowers, and I would love to get back to this. I don't know if I will this spring, just because I have so many other things that I've been working on and that I would like to get done. And then for the month of, so that was really March. And then when I went into April, I started towards the end of April. I didn't start it, but I pulled out my WIP and wanted to get back to this one, which is called Cornish Spolkies. And this is a company from the UK. And this was gifted to me from my sister-in-law, who actually lives in the UK. My husband grew up in Cornwall, and so we often visit that area. And this is what I have so far. So let's see if I can show a little better. There we go. So when I showed it to you last, I just had this guy pretty much done. I needed to fill in his boots. And then I didn't have any of this at all. So I basically did the girl and all the motifs around her. This, you know, the flowers and hearts at the bottom border. I'm just really loving all of the colors and just the fun representation. It reminds me of Poldark. I'm actually, I've watched Poldark. I never did finish it, so I thought I'll restart it and watch it while I'm working on this, and then hopefully have a finish. And I think her name is Giselda. Anyway, so she actually has a dress just like this, and her hair is charted for red hair, and I changed it to brown because a lot of girls in Cornwall have that dark brown hair. And then when I was watching the movie, I'm like, oh, this is really supposed to be Giselda. I don't know. I might change her hair back to red color. I don't know. We'll see. I'll show it again, and then you'll know what I've decided to do. And then this is in my blue sampler bag. If you're interested in, I sold some blue sampler bundles. If you're interested in the blue, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll try to get these back into my shop. I just have to order the fabric. Okay. So I have been working on a 2 threads a day stitch. When I finished the Blackbird, Our Lasting Friendship, that was my 2 threads. As soon as I finished that one, I decided to work on Land That I Love as my 2 threads a day. And I don't think I actually forgot to show you my progress on this stitch in my last video. And so let me show you what I have so far. She's a big girl. I just really love this Teresa Kogut design. I'm stitching this on 36 count brown paper by XU Designs. And when I picked this back up, I basically needed to work on this corner. It's the bottom left corner. So let me show you the chart. It'll be easier. So I did not have any of the house started. I had these 2 houses done. I didn't have the windows filled in here. And I did not have the flag started at all. And so what I did, when I got it back out for 2 threads, I started with the flag. I'm just going to fold it in half so I can just show you the bottom. Okay. So I started with the flag and worked on the flag, and then I did the heart, and then I did the red roof and the side of the house. And then I actually got it out to show you in April, but then I because that's what I had done in April, my last video. And then since then, I filled in the blue windows in this house. And then I filled in this house. And I framed the windows. And then I would grab one brown thread and one blue thread, and that would be what I would work on for that day. So that I would gradually fill in the house and the windows. And then I moved down to the door and I added the chimney. And then I realized that if you look close at the strawberry border, you don't see the white flowers over here. And I had not added the seeds inside the strawberries. So I went in, added the seeds, and then my plan is to add the white flowers when I work on this border over here, when I add the white inside. Because you'll see in the border, there's white. So when I get that color out, I'll work on those flowers in the strawberry border and then work on the border. I'm going to finish the house and then I'm going to work on this border, fill in these flowers, and then I'm going to do this whole line here of the design here, and then I'll finish with the bottom border and then I'll be done. So my goal is to have this done I'm hoping to get it done by mid-June so that I can get it framed. And I already have a frame in mind for it. So wish me luck. I'm really excited about getting her done. And I just really love this one. Okay, and then what I have also going every month is my birthday start. And it's Dwelling Place by Teresa Kogut. And I show this every time. And I just do a little bit of progress every month. And I just figure at least I'm picking it up and making some progress. And this is kind of messy. I actually have a thread bed for this that I just made. I'll show you in a minute. But this is my progress. So what I did, the only thing that I did since I showed it last is I added this motif here with the bird. So this is finished, and then I started on this side. So that's it. This is done on Salty Lake, my linen on 40 count. And I'm getting super close to having this back into my shop. I'm just waiting for my dye to grow. I use a plant in my garden and it's getting really close. So I'm excited to get Salty Lake back into the shop. And then this is the bag, Mansfield Park fabric. And this is the thread bed that I made for it. So I'll pop this back in here because I will definitely lose all of these materials. Okay. And then another stitch that I have ongoing is something that I work on Thursdays. I actually only worked on it one Thursday since I've seen you last, but I did kind of a marathon evening of stitching because I really wanted to finish a portion of the stitch that will really make it come to life. And that is this girl's face here. This is a Stony Creek summertime that I purchased in 1991, and then I started it in, I think, 2018 during the Mania start that I did. I'm using a lamb's wool linen, and this is my progress. So she is, I showed it on my Instagram, that all of her hair is done and her face. And I really love how it's turning out. And if I can get my act together and pull it out every Thursday, I could have more progress. But I don't know, it's just been a crazy month. So I'm hoping to get back to my plan of Thursday stitching on summertime, so I can show you more progress, and then I can get closer to a finish. And then for my Christmas WIP, I have, well, I'll just show you while I have it together. Candy Cane Lane is in this one, and I made the thread bed to match my hometown holiday Christmas bag. Candy Cane Lane by Brenda Gervais. And I'm stitching this on 40 count flax. And, oh wow. See, yeah, I'm just a messy stitcher. I've got threads everywhere. Now that I have my thread bed, I'll be able to stay a little bit more organized. And I've got a needle in here, so I'm just going to leave it off to the side. Okay. And this is my progress. I started in the center and I'm working my way up. And so now I'm working on the snow in just below the house. So I'm over here. And I'm using all the called for. Actually, take that back. I am using, I think it's 3865 DMC for the snow, because the called for bamboo by Classic Colorworks was a little too creamy and it didn't show up very well on this linen, and I really wanted the snow to pop. And so I changed that, but everything else is the same. So I did work on that. And I think I just have one more WIP, and that is Bumblebee Etchings by Heart and Hand, Cecilia Turner. And I am actually stitching this. I'm starting with the bee, and I'm stitching this on the Weeks, I think it's called Kazoo green. And this is my progress so far. I'm using the Weeks Dye Works over dyed pearl cotton, and I believe I'll just pull it out. So yeah, the number 5. That's what it is. Last night I was working on it and I ran out of the black, so I need to get more black. And then, so the wings will go here, and I think that's when it will really pop. And then I plan to make these, I'll make the flowers, the flower and the beehive in separate pieces, and then I'll have them sewn up into 3 different pillows. And I'll put these on my bench and my stair landing. That's my plan. I have found that working on the 20 count linen is a little bit, I don't know, it's a little different process for me, because I do stitch in hand and I have to work with the fabric and I stretch it a little bit with my hands, because I do not use a hoop. And just to make the stitches a little bit, to go in smoothly, and working with the pearl cotton is just a different process than working with the tinier threads. But it's a fun stitch, and I'm glad that I decided to make the bigger versions of this design. Okay, I just found one more WIP that I did not show you, and that is our Harriet. animal cracker. Let's see, here she is, Harriet. And I am stitching this on one of my linens, 36 count. And this is Bryce Beauty. And I had the head done in April, and I'm just working on her dress. And I haven't spent a lot of time on her, but I would like to get back to this and work on Harriet. And I'm using all of the called for threads, but then the Bryce Beauty for the fabric. All right, so speaking of my fabric, let's just show you, just want to share. I haven't spent a lot of time talking about my Aida cloth, so I thought I would do that today. So I do offer the same colors, but in Aida, and this is 16 count, and this is Golden Sundance. And if you're new here, all of my colors are named after places in Utah. So this is Golden Sundance. And then these are my winter colors, and it's probably easier just to show them all together. My lighting might wash out all the they're kind of hard to see because they're so light. But this is the blue, and this is called Snowbird Sky, and this is the creamy white version, and Solitude Serenity. The next is Deer Valley Dream, and then Park City Lights back here. Might be able to see the contrast there. Put it back there. See that? And then my linens. I didn't have Bryce Beauty and Zion in my Aida. I need to dye those. Those are out of stock. Here are my fall colors: Zion, Sunset, Bryce Beauty, and Golden Sundance. My linens, offering in 32, 36, and 40 count. And then these are my winter colors: Snowbird Sky, Solitude Serenity. I think this is, sometimes it's hard to, okay, Park City Lights, and then Deer Valley Dream. So Deer Valley Dream is is more purple. Okay, actually, yeah, this is Park City Lights. I feel like my lighting today is just washing all this out, and we're not doing a good job at showing the true colors. I don't know if you can see them all. So my winter collection. I do have color names and plans for spring and summer, and those will be coming. I'm not going to give you dates because I've found that I've just needed a little bit more time to gather the energy and the time to get spring completed. And so it's going to be a late or even early summer when that comes out, and then my summer will come out later in the summer. So those are my plans for that. Okay, so those are my shop news items, and then I would like to talk about, I think I'll be able to talk about some of my Flosstube, just recent views of Flosstubers while I talk about my haul, because I've been influenced by a few of them. And so, let's see. Karen Combs, I do watch her, and I really enjoy Karen. And I believe she did this Americana red sampler. So I have this in my newly purchased charts. And this is actually an October house. And I think maybe she left out the alphabet. I think Lori Holt did this one as well. And then another floss tuber that I really enjoy, her name is Joanne, the Story Stitcher. And she lives in California, and she and I started Flosstube the same week, last October. And Joanne is a really great stitcher. She's also an author. And she recently started stitching just last year. And she has really great ideas, and she shares a lot of great insight. And be sure to go to her latest Flosstube, and she shares some recent news about her help, and where she also has a GoFundMe for her to help her with some news that she just found out about. So be sure to check out Joanne. So when I bought the red, I wanted to do the blue as well. So I have the blue Americana. And then this year in Market, October House came out with the white. And so definitely feel like if I'm going to do the white, I need to find a linen that's really dark to make that white pop. Okay, and then I don't remember, I may have shared this last time. This is another October House Pear Fair. And I think this is a new release as well. Hands-on design. There's a hare in my garden. Oh, here's another October House. The Strawberry Patch for summer. Just love that. Of course, I enjoy Sean, the periwinkle stitcher, and she has made this, and it's a beautiful finish. It's called the Tulip Fields Pin Keep. So I just had to get this. Thank you, Sean. She recently went to the Cowslip retreat and did a Flosstube recap about her experience there, and that was just lovely to hear about her fun weekend. Okay, another stitcher that I actually have got to know. She lives close by. Her name is the Daybreak Stitcher, Jerica. I've been watching her Flosstubes. I've also been new to me Flosstuber that's been doing videos for many years. Her name is Heidi Whips and Kits, and she showed her finish for her Strawberry Fields Forever stitch by Blackbird Designs, and I actually have that one finished, and she inspired me to get that one out and get that framed, so that's in the works. And I was going to pull that out and I forgot, but I'll show that next time. So Heidi, let's see, Mrs. Jones Stitches, her name is Holly, and so I've enjoyed her videos. And Sarah's Stitchery, I've been watching a few of her recent videos as well, and she's really sweet, and you can tell that she's a school teacher because she just really does a great job explaining things, and does a really great job with her video. A great teacher as well. So let's see. Let's talk about plans, and then I'll be finished with everything that I would like to share you today. So part of my plans for next month is that my sister Kimmy is going to be staying with me for a few days towards the end of June. And while we're together, we're going to be working on the Jane Austen coverlet quilt together. Some of you may know that this year is the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth, and Riley Blake has come up with a few quilt patterns that are just beautiful, and one of them is the coverlet, and the other is the 250th anniversary quilt that was designed by Lori Holt. Those fabrics have not come out yet, and we're planning on doing the sew along for that starting in August. However, we do have the kits for the coverlet, and so we're going to start working on that together in June. And while she's with me, she is going to come on and film with me the next Flosstube in June. So you'll be able to meet Kimmy. She will be my special guest, and we're going to be sharing lots of beautiful projects that we've done throughout the years, and we're also going to be showing some things that my mother, our mother, has made us, some special heirlooms. So be sure to tune in and meet Kimmy, because she is a lovely person, and I just love her so much. Another plan that I have for next month is a couple of new starts, and a few of you, I think, Stitching with Jem, I think that's her name, Jem. She, and maybe some others too, have started Stitches Be Sweet by Jeanette Douglas. There you go. And I have the chart, and I have plans to purchase the Vicki Clayton silks. And then I still need to get the linen for this, so I need to kit this up, but I would like to start this soon. I think it's a beautiful summer stitch, and it would be just a great way to celebrate this summer. And then this is a little bee stitch that I've actually been thinking about. I've been working, of course I work in my shop all the time, working on linens, and I've been thinking about, dreaming about all the little stitches that I want to add to my wall, for my bee wall. And this one here, I actually have in my shop, and it's Keeper of the Bees by Needle Bling Design. And I just die over this lady. She's just so cute, and I love those little bees that are just like these little fat bees, and the beehive. So I'm going to be starting her. She's super, super cute. And then of course, finish my Land That I Love, my 2 threads a day, and continue. I'd like to continue working on a lot of my WIPs that I showed you. My bee, that's a good summer one. I hope that you've all been able to find time to stitch, enjoy some warmer weather wherever you are, and so grateful that I can come on and share my love of needlework with you. And I hope that you'll be able to find the time to enjoy all the things that you love, along with the people that you love. Be grateful and inspired every day, and we'll see you next time.